Autobots, roll out!
Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Ginger Toy Mentors Transformers. So this is the Transformer Legacy Edition of Skids. So if you saw in the beginning, obviously I had a nice little fashion shot of the box. We're going to skip by that, and we're going to go ahead and open him up, and we're going to see what he looks like on the inside. So it looks like we got 3 pieces of tape, one on the left, one on the right, and one in the back middle that are holding him closed. Some quick little cuts with a razor blade, and we got all the pieces of tape cut. So let's go ahead and get him open, and let's see what he looks like on the inside. So I noticed with a lot of these legacy ones, they're just kind of like held to a piece of cardboard, and usually you just pull out the cardboard, and it comes with the instruction manual and a, what is that, trademarks? It's like a bunch of trademarks. Yeah, it's like a trademark sheet. And there's nothing else in the box. It's just, it's empty. So everything comes out on this little platform, almost like he's like under surgery, and he's getting worked on, as you can see. His weapon is down here. A lot of his stuff is held in by these little plastic clips, and looks like his doors are folded back on the back side, so do pay attention to his doors, because obviously if you tried to yank him through, that might be that might get him killed, sort of. I actually remember I had Skids back in the day when I was a kid, and he's a very interesting Transformer. He wasn't a very good Transformer back then, but he was interesting. So it does look like I'm going to have to cut these. I usually like to see if I can avoid cutting them if possible, but in this particular case, unless I have some sort of like magic tool to push the pins through, I don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to have to fold his doors, there we go, and then slide him through. There we go, we got Skids. Looks like his wheels are touching the ground when he walks. It's rather interesting. His weapon on the left isn't actually held in by anything. Doesn't seem to be anyway, so you can pretty much just pull out that weapon. And then the other weapon is held in by a small piece of plastic. Pull that one out, and then he also has what looks like an Energon axe. Kind of looks similar to Optimus's Energon axe, if I had to guess. Very similar, and that's pretty much it. A couple pieces of plastic, and we have removed him from his bonds. Now, Skids, I believe, is a kind of like a Volvo van, so it should be fairly easy to remove him or to transform him. I doubt I'm going to be needing the instructions for this guy, but you know, if I do, I will reference them. So right off the bat, though, I noticed that he does have non-moving finger joints. This entire section right here seems to flip up and down. He also has the top of his vehicle right here. That's the top on the back. And I remember this guy pretty well. I think he was actually one of my favorite little Transformers. The original Skids, not this one, of course. But this one does look very, very similar in many ways. If I remember correctly, he folds down like this. That part pops up. And his doors fold back. Kind of looks like he's more of like a Ford Range Rover. Anyway, before we transform completely into the van mode, let's get a shot of him in the robot.
Autobots, roll out!
Alright, so there was the fashion shot of him in his robot mode. I got his gun on him and his axe. Now let's see if we can transform him without the instruction manual. This is one of the tests I like to do for Transformers because obviously these are toys meant for kids, despite the fact that we like them. I want to see if they can easily be transformed, at least by me, as opposed to you know, like a little kid. Little kid's not going to look at the instruction manual. I hate to tell everybody this, but, you know, they generally don't look at the instruction manual. So, so we're going to see if we can transform this ourselves and get an idea of whether this is simple enough for a kid to transform. And so far, because it is a car, I do feel like I have had absolutely no issues so far. Trying to figure this out on my own. There's definitely a lot of very self-explanatory mechanisms, like pushing his legs down, these little things right here popping outward. His wheels move outward like this. That's why he was rolling in the beginning, was because of that kind of like aspect of the wheels moving downward, which wasn't quite utilized properly. And one thing I'm seeming to have issues with right now is the distance between the rear end and the front end. It seems like there's like a gap that I'm not able to close. It's got to be some sort of extra movement that I'm missing. Probably to do with his legs, maybe. Looks to me like the center piece here rotates. The entire body rotates, actually, which is kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what to make of that. I don't really think that helps the transformation at all, but I'm supposing that's probably what you got to do to get him in the right position for his legs. His head comes down like that. Doesn't look like anything pushes in. Okay, there we go. I think I might have done it. So his hips sort of rotate downward, and when his hips rotate downward, they definitely take up a little bit of the slack room, which was causing part of the issue. I don't know if I have his arm rotated correctly. There's definitely like some bumpies on his arm, and I'm not entirely sure if that is the correct rotation for his arm. But I mean, a couple tries of this, I could probably figure it out, because his arm rotates a couple different ways. So I could just rotate. Check, that's a no. Rotate, check. That's probably a no, because it doesn't allow the door to close. I think I might have had it the right way, because none of these other rotations seem to really fit. So the one that I had was really the best fitting rotation of the bunch, which is kind of sad because it didn't really fit very well at all. And my lights just went off for no reason. We still have one light. I mean, it doesn't feel like I've got it quite right. So let's take a look at the manual, see if there's some little piece that I missed that makes this transformation a little bit smoother. Or actually, no, there's some little notches. That's interesting. So like inside of here where the doorway is, there's these little tiny notches, and it looks like you're supposed to click the doors into the notches. And the same goes for the top of the car. The top of the car sort of clicks into these little notches, and that's what makes it work. And it looks like he's finished. So I would assume at this point you're putting his weapons on him. So probably something like that, or Not really sure where his Energon axe would go. Let's reference the manual and see if we can figure out where his weapons go when he is in car mode. So it looks like here there's a couple different transformations of his weapons. Apparently you can take his weapons and combine them together. So for instance, this weapon, which is what I had before, goes on the top or the bottom. Does it go on the bottom? What's that? Oh, it goes on the bottom. So it goes on the bottom of his weapon. And then the Energon axe apparently goes on the top of his weapon, like this. And then we have this really kind of cool looking thing which can sit on the top of his car, thus. And then we have a very interesting skids with a like freaking blade axe weapon on the top of him. It's very interesting. As you can see on the bottom, he has some, like these are his like knee guards, and then these are his feet right here, and you can actually see his head from inside, which is pretty cool. I mean, all in all, he's a really cool little transformer, and he definitely brings me back to when I was a kid, that's for sure. Alright, so let's go to a fashion shot of the car, and I think that'll finish it up.
You're putting girl jewelry on a boy dog. He's got enough self-esteem issues as a chihuahua.
That's his bling.